श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। शतावधानिनां तत्र भवताम् आर् गणेशवर्याणां मार्गदर्शने प्रवर्तमानायाः अस्याः कार्यशालायाः अवधानकार्यशालायाः चतुर्थे दिवसे तत्र भवतां सर्वेषां सप्रेमं स्वागतं व्याहरामः। गणेशवर्याः भागग्राहिणः सर्वेभ्योऽपि अहम् एकेन वचसा स्वागतं व्याहरामि, सप्रणामम्। अधुना तावत् आदौ शान्तिमन्त्रेण कार्यक्रमम् आरभामहे। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। अधुना वर्यामहं सम्प्रार्थये यत् सत्रम् एतत् स्वीकुर्वन्तु इति।
Good afternoon. I think yesterday my friend Shri Shashikaran had given a good introduction to various aspects of Avadhana. And now, earlier I thought that we shall start with the details of the components itself. But I found out during the question answer session that some of them were interested more in the historical development of this art. So I thought of focusing first on that and then going to the aspects of components. So it will be nice. Avadhanam, as we know, it is a composite art, and so many streams have contributed for its development. Thus, we see one component essentially focusing on dharana, a memory, is from the fountainhead of Vedas, the Veda Avadhanam, that tradition that has contributed to Sahitya Avadhanam. And the other one is, as I mentioned the day before yesterday, Vijikisha or Jigisha and Vidvad Rajasa. So, exhibiting one's own talents and then expressing one's own prowess in spontaneous versification, Ashu Kavita. And yesterday Shashi mentioned about Chatu Kavita, such things along with Chitra Kavita, and then presenting their skill in these things. And that is versification and constrained versification. That is the second stream. And then we also have the mathematical aspect of that. That is mainly developed by the Jains, because since time immemorial, they were very keen in mathematics. That is the oldest available work on mathematics in the form of in the name Bakshali manuscript. It is authored by unknown person. And then we have Brahmagupta, Mahaviracharya, and many more. So that tradition is also present. In that way, one is the aspect of dharana, and another is the aspect of kalana and dharana, that is mathematics. And the third one is kavana, poetry. In that way, these three have mixed in various proportions, and naturally, Sahitya Avadhanam has to find its place in literary excellence. In that sense, Sahitya Avadhanam mainly focuses on Purana, and naturally Dharana comes with it. And this type of Avadhana itself is known since time immemorial. There are several evidences in the inscriptions which are available. From 9th century onwards, we get those details. Unfortunately, because of the invasion of the barbaric people in the early, in the later classical period, starting from the 8th century, we don't have many evidences of inscription sources in the North India. Only a few sources in South India are available. In North India, we have lost temple tradition, we have lost inscriptional evidences, and we have lost so many unbroken traditions which are as found in South India are completely missing or disjointed in North India. Most of them, they are all reasoned because of the barbaric invasion. So, very few inscriptions which are available in South India, they can be represented here. Though the material is very much in our book on the art and science of Avadhanam in Sanskrit, we have a very detailed references and very detailed enumeration of all these things. I'm not going to those details because it may perplex our people here, people who are attending the workshop, because just reading out names after names and giving out the dates after dates will be of no use. This much is true. Since 9th century and 10th century, we have plenty of references, either in inscriptions, either in the literary sources, and also in oral tradition. Everywhere we get, and most of them are concentrated in South India. Earliest inscriptional evidences are found in Karnataka, in Kannada, the two in Kannada. In 942 Common Era, 942, there is one inscription of the Rashtrakuta period, Krishna III. There, Vallimalai Shasanam, that inscription is found in a village by name Vallimalai in Tamil Nadu. There it is mentioned a person by name Disai Idanga Appaya. Appaya is the name. Disai Idanga means it is an epithet of him. And he had performed Vikata Kavitavadhanam in the city of Kanchi. And so a village was gifted to him, Mahendrapadi, a village belonging to modern Tamil Nadu. In those days, there were no such political or geographical barriers as we find. Though the kings used to conquer one or the other place and the borders used to change very easily, but the culture used to remain intact and there is no language symbolism. And that's why Tamil Nadu, though it is found in Tamil Nadu, there are plenty of Kannada people and vice versa. In Bangalore, we get so many inscriptions and so many temple evidences which are belonging to the period of Cholas and Pallava. Like that, we see the same case in Andhra Pradesh and other places also. Then we have one poet by name Deva Sharma, was an Avadhani, and in an inscription belonging to the 12th century, 1172 Common Era, we get one reference, who was a Sanskrit Avadhani. It is again from Karnataka. And then one more inscription from Andhra Pradesh. It is belonging to 11th century, mid of 11th century, 1053 Common Era, Nandamapudi Shasanam, that's what it is named as. And that is scribed by the first known Telugu poet, Nannaya Bhattaraka. And he writes that one scholar by name Nanni Narayana Bhattu was given an Agrahara Nandamapudi, and he was Ashtadasha Avadharana Chakravarti. And interestingly, this Ashtadasha Avadharana was popular in Karnataka. One scholar, poet, and mathematician, and also an administrator by name Mallikarjuna Mallideva, was called as Ashukavi Nitilaksha. Ashukavi Nitilaksha means he was Maheshwara, he was Shiva in Ashukavita, three-eyed Lord. And Nanavidhavadharana Chakravarti, Kavikanja Sambhava. Kanja Sambhava is, of course, the creator Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. And he is Kavi Brahma. And Sahaja Saraswata. Those epithets are very beautiful to listen to. And also the meanings are so replete with suggestion. Sahaja Saraswata. And he knew so many sciences and arts. He was adept in mathematics, used to calculate the revenue income for fields and other properties, and also knew geometry, and he could write from both using both the hands simultaneously, and he could compose verses on this part. And some of the references are also available. I shall read out a verse about his prowess. Parikise Mallideva Vibhugar Sama Nirbar Mirkelangalul Baraduda Nantyadim Bareva Bajipa Kappa Mintutantire Posagappa Mam Rudiva Bhavisi Kelva Katha Chatushkamam Dhare Parikarma Min Dinitumam Gunippa Nati Prabhavadul. He Mallideva, Mallikarjuna, he could dictate poems which are composed then and there to people who are sitting on either side of him, and then Baraduda Nantyadim Bareva, Vilomakrama Lekhana. From the end, he could write. If a verse is given, he could write from the backwards, he could write. And then he himself could write using both the hands. And by doing so, he could recite poems melodiously which are written by other poets. It is something like Kavya Vachana. And also, he could compose verses on the given meter. Vajipa Kabbam Antu Tentu Tantire Pasagabbam Nudiva. If you recite a poem in Shardul Kiritam or Pushpita Agra or Pradshini meter, immediately you could come out with a verse in the same meter. And then Katha Chatushkamam Kelva. 4 types of stories, you could very easily listen to them and also give answers to them. And also, Dhare Parikarma, measuring the field, getting the revenue, calculating that, all these things, you could very easily do that. Here we can infer his prowess in versification, skills in music, skills in mathematics, skills, of course, in multitasking. Everything has been enshrined in this particular verse. Like that, we have many such people who existed. Some of them have been documented and some other are left and they were lost in oblivion. Then we have Kavi Kama. Yesterday or day before yesterday, I think, one person questioned about the format of Avadhanam, perhaps yesterday. How was the format of Avadhanam before several centuries? Was it the same or different? Fortunately, Kavi Kama is the only person, no Telugu poet or no Sanskrit poet or no Tamil poet have given the details of an Avadhana, the components and their nature. But in Kavi Kama, who existed during the second half of 12th century and beginning of 13th century, he wrote a work by name Shringara Ratnakara. Yesterday Shashi mentioned about that. And in Shringara Ratnakara, he has given 2 verses. And in those verses, we can understand how was his capability of Avadhana. Jagadol Sannidamada Nal Nudigalim Chandakya Barpantu Nettage Madu Mataduva Balme Chittadol Iraldir Darthamam Kude Nalagayim Ranchisubantu Vinnanamadin Navange Uneka Bhagika Saifim Dorekulgum Athanevalam Shringara Ratnakaram. Jagadol Sannidamada Nal Nudigalim. By using idiomatic language, by using proverbial statements, Chandakya Barpantu Nettage Maduva Balme. He could impregnate, he could contain idioms and even proverbs in his verses. I can read out the translation of that. We can understand that Kama could instantaneously mold in any meter the import of local maxioms, proverbs, idioms, and other turns of phrase, and could instantly grasp the intent of the questionnaire and bring it out in metrical form. That's what he made. Chandakya Barpantu Nettage Maduva Balme Chittadol Varaldir Darthamam Kude Nalagayim Rachisamdu Balme. It is something like Manasi. If a person has a thought in it, and then if he suggests it, immediately it could be related to a verse. And then he also says about Ranchisubantu Vinnanam, entertaining, that is Abharanjana. All these things are the cup of tea of Shringara Ratnakara. It is his epithet. And another verse is very important. There we have the components. Yasakam Detta Matiprakasha Madanin Nenembe Nan Cheti Nal Dasiyol Nalvaru Kantadul Baraya Kabbam Velvan Voldattaladisuvam Nettaman Ittalodidode Tatpam Keldudam Siddhi Alisuvam Geetaman Ginnuvam Nagisuvum Shringara Ratnakaram. Here is a conversation between his beloved and an attendant of her. Yasakam Datta Matiprakasha Madanin Nenembe. How can I describe the mental capability and intellectual prowess of this person, my beloved? Nal Desayol Nalvaru Kantadul Baraya Kabbam Pelvan. 4 people sitting in 4 directions. If they question, you would immediately answer the questions in the versified form while they are writing, and finally they will be tallying. Of course, it will be there as a dharana around. Baraya Kabbam Pelvan Voldattaladisuvam Nettam. While doing this, while composing this in a spur of a movement, he could move the pawns of the chess. Nettaman Adisuvam. Vodidode. If a poem is recited, Tappam Peldudam Siddhi Alisuvam. Even if some mistake is deliberately being committed, he could correct it and then he could enjoy that and explain. Tappam Peldudam Siddhi Alisuvam. This is Kavya Vachana. Geetaman Yennuvam. He could come out with spontaneous verses in the form of songs like Ashakavita, and Nagisuvam entertains with the Aprastha Prasanga. That way, yesterday Shashi mentioned about the common format of Ashtavadhanam, what is being used in Sanskrit Avadhanams, mainly the 8 or 10 components, Nishedha Akshara, or Pratyakshara Nishedha, or Varga Nishedha, something, and then Samasya Purana, Dattapadi, and then I am using Chitra Kavita, and even Shankar used to do so. And sometimes it can be replaced by Nestakshari, or sometimes Varnana, like that. And then the fifth one is Ashukavita, and the sixth one is, of course, Kavya Vachana, or Purana Patana as called in Andhra Pradesh. But even there it is Kavya Vachana itself. Beautiful verses from works of Mahakavis, great poets are recited, and the Avadhani has to explain them and give the reference to context. Then the seventh one, Aprastha Prasanga. And eighth one, I prefer, earlier I used to perform with Ganta Vadana, and now Sankhya Bandha is being used, and I have used Uddishta Akshari also, and many other. Generally, Sankhya Bandha or Uddishta Akshari, these are being used. And even our friend Sri Ramakrishna Pejattaya, and even one more attendee of this workshop, Sri Surya Hebbar, incidentally, he is student of Ramakrishna Pejattaya ji, and he is also a trained Avadhani in Sanskrit, and very happy that he is attending this workshop. But I don't know, such an accomplished Avadhani could get anything new from this workshop. It's his good nature and it's his well-meaning approach to this workshop that has made him register for this work, for this. Well, he or another friend of him, Sri Uma Maheshwara, Vidwan Uma Maheshwara, who is also trained by Ramakrishna Pejattaya ji, and one more person by name Bala Chandra ji. All these people are trained by Ramakrishna Pejattaya ji. I am so happy. Incidentally, I have to greet him and thank him for perpetuating this art. Apart from he himself practicing it so ably, he is making others also participate in this and promoting it. And then another contemporary Ashtavadhani of Sanskrit and Kannada, Dr. Mahesh Bhattacharyadi from Udupi. All these people, they take Sankhya Bandha, sometimes Uddishta Akshari, like that. Again, the variation in components is hardly 20% or 22%. Most of them remain the same. Incidentally, you should say, it all depends upon the prowess and also preference of the Avadhani. One person, if he is good at music, if he is very much skilled in mathematics, such elements will become pronounced dominating in the performance. However, such preferences should not lead to the dilution of art. Yesterday, Shashi mentioned that individual skills, personal skills can certainly contribute to this art, but they should contribute in such a way that the element of wonder, which essentially lies on two factors. One is the innate difficulty, and other is innate artistry. Beauty and difficulty, both are interdependent. Because of difficulty, if it is presented well, it will be extremely appealing. At the same time, this appeal, the element of wonder, can always be created by taking different and more advanced and more challenging components. In that way, none should aim at diluting the whole process. I told tightrope walking, it should happen in a higher altitude, not on the ground level. Likewise, these components have to be chosen and arranged. All these features are found in this verse of Kavi Kama, and that's so even today these things, these components more or less are found in Andhra Pradesh, but in Tamil Nadu and even in the Jain tradition, the patterns are differing. I shall come to it later. Mainly Sahitya Avadhanam is practiced both in Kannada and Telugu, and of course in Sanskrit. In all these three languages, the format remains more or less the same. While discussing the evolution of Avadhanam, I shall focus more on these factors. Then we have one Jaina Sannyasini, one Shravika, a monk, Jain monk, Kanti. Kanti, the name itself in Kannada means Jain monk, a woman monk, lady monk. She existed in 11th century, early 11th century. She was a great poetess. The story goes, you may believe it or not, the story goes that she drank an elixir by name Jyotishmati. It is an oil, Jyotishmati Taila. By virtue of it, she became a great poetess and a scholar. And it was a very big dose. And that's why she became an Avadhani instantaneously, Avadhanini. And there are quite a few verses that are available in the form of Skanda Padyas, in the form of Arya Gitis or Skandakas mainly, where she is being questioned by another great poet of her times, Nagachandra. He is also called as Abhinav Pampa. Not less than some 60 verses are available, where we have Dattapadis, Samasyas, and then Sthana Chitra, Suvarna Chitra, and many other. And of course, Ashwata verses are quite a few. And there you can know how Avadhanam used to go in those days. And she was such a person. Then we have Sri Karna the Vishwanatha from Chandrayapatna, a small, near Chandrayapatna, there was a small hamlet. From there, Sri Karna the Vishwanatha, he was a village accountant. Sri Karna means an accountant, village accountant. He was Gopurus Dharana Sarvabhauma. He was also a great Avadhani who could write by using both the hands. And also another by name Madhavanka. Madhavanka wrote a treatise on Alankara Shastra also, Madhava Alankara. He was a Shatavadhani. And then we have another scholar who belonged to Andhra Pradesh also, Nachana Somana of 14th century. He was an Ashtabhasha Kavi and also an Avadhani. He belonged to both the places, Kannada and Telugu. Then we have, these are all some of the inscriptional references. In literary evidences, we have Amarchandra Suri, the famed author of a very big work basing the Mahabharata epic, Balabharata. He says that he used to solve 108 Kavya Samasya Puranas in the court of Vishaladeva. And Malinatha, the great commentator of all the Pancha Mahakavyas, his grandfather by the same name, he was honored by Veerarudra or Prataparudra Bhupati, the last emperor of Kakatiya dynasty. And that is being documented. It is available in the inscriptions also. And Avadhana Saraswati of 15th century was another Sanskrit Avadhani. And Appai Dikshita's father-in-law from Jinji, a very great scholar, Pratidina Prabandha Parameshwara, as his name goes, Srinivasa Dikshita, he was called as Ratnakheta Srinivasa Dikshita because of a beautiful verse which he wrote in description of the twilight. How sun and moon, they are rising and sinking. These two are represented as a wonderful, as two beautiful shields behind which the directions are fighting, exchanging the stars as the weapons, Star Wars, of course. And that the Ratnaketa Srinivasa Dikshita's verse is even today popular. His daughter was a great Ashukavita Vidushi by name Mangalamba Rachamba. It's a very interesting, there is beautiful verse which was composed by her. Even when she was a small girl, little girl, her father used to receive so many scholars from various corners of our country. It was day and night affair. Many scholars used to come and argue. He was a great scholar in Padavakya Pramana and Vedanta, and he has written quite a few works. He has also written an allegorical play by name Bhavana Purushottama, and many other works have been written by him. Tatrasti Kaschit Tarunagni Hotri Shatavadhanaha, like that it is being said about him by his son Rajachudamani Dikshita. Tatrasti Kaschit Tarunagni Hotri Shaddarshani Sagara Paradrishva Shatavadhani Tyaparadina Aparavidanaha Sri Srinivasad Sarvabhoumaha. He was an Ahitagni also. So there are many qualifications. His daughter had come to the front yard to clean and to wash it with water. While she was sprinkling water, these scholars came. Then looking at them, she said, "Who are you? We are scholars to have a verbal combat, to have debate, vakyartha with your father." Then she told, and alluding to the rhythm of the sprinkling of the water, Vipaschitam apaschime vivadakeli nischale sapatna yatya jitnyatna ratnaketa dikshite brihaspati kvajalpati kvasatpatiha satparat asammukhastu shanmukhascha turmukhopi durmukhaha. Beautiful verse. There is a, she says, in front of my father, who can stand, who can face? It's impossible. Even Brahaspati will blabber. Brahaspati Kvajalpati. Kvasatpati ha sarparat. Even the 1,000-foot serpent, Adishesha, would run away and enter into a burrow. Kvasatpati ha sarparat. And he is Adishesha, means Patanjali, the incarnation of Adishesha. Asammukhastu Shanmukha. Shanmukha is known for Jnana. He is Subramanya. He will become, he will be absconding. Asammukhastu Shanmukha. He can't even face. Chaturmukhopi Durmukha. Even the four-faced Lord of creation and consort of the goddess of learning will be doomed. When that being the case, who are you people in front of my father? Such a person was Ratnaketa Srinivas Dikshita. And from Tamil Nadu, there were many scholars like we have Venkatramacharya and Vedantacharya of 16th century. Ratnaketa Srinivas Dikshita also belonged to the same time. And Madhuramani, a great name, day before yesterday, her name was mentioned. She used to compose very fast poetry. Astatyashuka Vitva. In 12 minutes, she used to compose 100 verses. I told about that, and Shashikiran had given the reference also. She has given many details about her prowess, and that is yes, I know, but Ramayana Kavya Sara Tilaka is her work, and there in the colophon of every canto, every chapter, she gives very many details about her prowess in 6 languages, and while playing the veena, how could she perform Shatavadhanam and others. And her own co-wife, Ramabhadraamba, was another great Shatavadhanini. Ramabhadraamba has written an epic on her husband's life itself, Raghunatha Nayaka, and by name Raghunatha Abhyudayam. It's also available in print. Of course, in the internet, long ago it was printed, a 13 canto epic, which gives a complete detail of daily routine of her consort. And all these things, they show how women were also adept in this art, and it had crossed the frontiers of caste, creed, and gender, and even province, of course. And then from Navadvipa, Nadia, by a person by name Raghavendra Bhattacharya, used to perform Shatavadhanam, and this detail has been given by his son Ramadeva. He says how Shatavadhanam was being carried out, how today a Shatavadhanam, typical Shatavadhanam, is conducted in a similar fashion that Avadhanam used to be conducted. And then we have many other Sanskrit scholars from various provinces of India, mainly from Andhra Pradesh, performing Ashtavadhanam and Shatavadhanam in Sanskrit. I need not go through all the names. A few names are very important. Those few names I shall give. In Andhra Pradesh, this art saw its zenith. Even today, it is treated as the fertile land of Avadhana. And the golden age of Avadhana in Andhra Pradesh is supposed to be from the end of 19th century to the beginning of 20th century. Though people say even today there are very many Avadhanis, but now the Avadhanam, the art of Avadhanam, is performed on a very friendly basis, more as an art, more as a cooperative art. Earlier it used to be something like a tough fight, and then Pritchakas used to be very stringent, and they were determined to insult, determined to vanquish Avadhani, and even the Avadhani used to give his answers in the same currency. That's how it used to go on. The revival of Avadhanam in Andhra Pradesh happened from 19th century onwards, mid of 19th century. A great scholar who existed during 1860 common era, Madabhushi Venkatacharya, was a thorough scholar in many Shastra, and his Avadhanams are available in documentation, in the documented form. This Madabhushi Venkatacharya had many capabilities. He could perform Vestakshari in 8 languages. Vestakshari means a short sentence having not more than 32 syllables will be written. Whether it may be in the versified form or not, it's immaterial. And that will be cut into pieces so that every piece will contain one alphabet or one letter, one syllable, and they are jumbled, and they'll be given in random succession. At the end of the performance, Avadhani has to recollect all these alphabets or syllables and then arrange them mentally in the order and then recite it. This is Vyastakshara. Even today, Avadhanis, they perform this feat of Vyastakshara, but they perform one Vyastakshara. In an Ashtavadhana, only one component will be Vyastakshara. But this person could perform one session of Vyastakshara itself by using 8 different languages. It was very, very tough thing. It is Dharana Nikashopala, as we say, a stone for memory. Then he had another prowess, another capability of Eka Sandhigrahana. If one verse is heard, he could repeat it then and there. If twice he hears that, he could repeat it in the reverse order. Vivara Kathita Shloka Pratiloma Kathana Pravana, like that, the Viruddha is given, title has been given. It's another great achievement, but not all verses can be remembered like that. It's a separate section itself. Ekasandhagrahana, Visandhagrahana, or Ekasandhigrahana, Visandhigrahana. These are all, to what extent they are reliable. Only few verses can be immediately recollected, immediately registered, not all. If the verses are very tricky and very difficult, it is almost impossible. I myself had seen Avadhanis failing in the Ekasandhigrahana. I may not go to those details. Well, after Madabhushi Venkatacharya, yes, he used to perform one more, much difficult, perhaps an impossible task, which he could only do it. Shatakalasha Avadhana or Shataghanta Avadhana. 100 identical metal parts or metal vessels will be chosen. Water will be filled in different levels, and all the 100 vessels will be numbered 1 to 100. And then once or twice they are beaten and the sounds are registered. You would have heard a musical instrument by name Jalataranga, very similar to that. Once all the 100 bowls or 100 vessels are hit and the sounds are registered mentally by the Avadhani, his eyes will be closed or a screen will be put against it. And on the other side, if any bowl or any vessel is struck, he could identify the number. This is an extraordinary feat and it is a marvelous phenomenon. There, the Dharana Shakti, the retention power should be so keen and so profound, he could match it. Sound is very abstract, unlike language, which is more concrete because it has meaning apart from the sound. Sound and sense are together. It has only one thing, that is sound. And closely coming Shrutis are to be registered. It is very, very difficult. And then we have one more great scholar by name Manavalli Gangadhar Shastri. He hailed from Karnataka, from Bangalore. Near Bangalore, there is a village by name Hesaragatta. And from there, he went to Varanasi. And in Varanasi, he was respected and he was one among the 5 great scholars. In Sanskrit, we can find a book called Vidvat Charita Panchakam. There is the biography is also preserved. And Manavalli Gangadhar Shastri himself was an Avadhani. And there are 2 diverging evidences. But the story is very important. The event is very important. One scholar perhaps who is to perform in the scheme of Jaina Avadhana by name Vidwan Gattulal from Mumbai. He went to Varanasi and he performed a Shatavadhanam. There, Manavali Gangadhar Shastri Ji was also a witness. Perhaps he would have been a questioner. And then Gattulal later gave one samasya. For that, our Avadhani, Manavali Gangadhar Shastri, he gave the solution. Babhau Mayuro Lavashesha Simha Yuti Samasya. Samasya is not that difficult, but the constraint involved is much more difficult, really difficult. Here the last line of an Upendra Vajra meter, Babhau Mayuro Lavashesha Simha Baba Maya Rala Vasha Tasa. Here all are in the succession. In the Vargiya Vyanjana, we have the last Varga, Pavarga. Baba, Papa, Baba, Ma, these three letters. And then Yara, Lava, Shasha, Saha. Totally these 8. 8 plus 3 coming to 11. 11 is the number of syllables which are found in every foot of Upendra Vajra or Indra Vajra put together Upajati meter. And the Parihara should be composed in such a way that this succession, this linearity has to be met with, it has to be followed. The verse is very, very difficult, incorrigible. Fortunately, the solution is also given with a commentary by Manavali Gangadhar Shastri Ji himself, and that's why we remember. Ramakrishnacharya, the famed author of the history of Sanskrit literature, he says that Manavali Gangadhar Shastri himself composed this verse as an answer in his own Shatavadhanam. Whatever may be the thing, but this much is true. Gattulal Ji was also a tough fighter, and so was Manavali Ji. But this verse even today remains as an unparalleled example. And one more scholar from Andhra Pradesh, another great Avadhani, is Chidambara Shastri, seems to have solved this Samasya Purna in one of the sessions. Well, these are some interesting anecdotes which are connected with Sanskrit Avadhanam. Then we have from Andhra Pradesh 2 great Avadhanis who got inspired by the performances from Madabhushi Venkatacharya. Devalapalli brothers from Pitapuram princely state, and then immediately Tirupati Venkata Kavis, Divakarla Tirupati Shastri and Challapilla Venkata Shastri, these 2 people also perform many Avadhanas. Even today in Andhra Pradesh, the revival of Avadhanam started, and the zenith of Avadhanam is seen in Shatavadhani, Tirupati Shastri and Venkata Shastri. These 2, they used to perform the Avadhanam together, and that became a craze later. So many people used to perform Avadhana, Avadhani duo used to perform Avadhana, and many students of him, many disciples have also followed that. One person will be giving one line, the other person will be giving yet another line. So in 2 rounds, they will be completing 2 lines. And in that way, the 4 rounds used to happen, go on with it. And at the end, any one of them used to render the complete verse. Both these people should be having that in dharana, and ultimately the verses used to be rendered. In recent years, 2 people, one Kadimella Varaprasad and another one Kota Lakshmi Narasimham, these 2 people, teacher and student, they joined together and performed a Sahasravadhanam in Telugu. This is the highest record in these Yugala Kavis. In Telugu, they are called Janta Kavis. Janta means in Telugu, the pair. So these 2 people, they performed up to Sahasravadhanam. So Tirupati Venkata Kavis, Devalapalli Sahodara, and then Kopparko Sodarlu. These are people who perform Shatavadhanam duo. And there are many other scholars also. Kashi Krishnacharya, Madhvashri Kashi Krishnacharya was another great Sanskrit scholar and Sanskrit Avadhani of the same time. And then one more scholar, Sripada Krishnamurti Shastri, a very great scholar who translated Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavata into Telugu, was also a Shatavadhani. and he performed in Sanskrit and as well as Telugu. And another great scholar by name Ajjada Adipatla Narayana-dasu from Andhra Pradesh was a very great Avadhani. He was a self-taught Sanskrit scholar. He read Mahabhashyam also on his own, an impossible thing. And he learned Persian, Urdu, and other languages, English also. He by-hearted the complete dictionary. And he was a good musician and a dancer, and even a veena player and a mridangam player. In all these things, every dimension of his talent was self-nurtured. And he used to perform Ashtavadhanam. No records of he being performing, he having performed Shatavadhanam are available. But his Ashtavadhanams are really challenging, and they had great merit, intrinsic merit. And he performed Sangeeta Avadhanam also. He was a great Harikatha exponent. He used to compose Harikathas on the spot and sing them in high-pitched voice. A very reverberating voice was his, and he used to reach without microphones. And then he used to perform Sangeeta Avadhanam on 2 palms, 2 talams, and 2 feet, yet another pair of talams, and by nodding of the head, the 5th tala. Like that, 5 talas used to be rendered simultaneously, and the sahityam used to be set in such a way that all these tala patterns would be met with while singing. In that way, he used to sing, and while singing such Pallavi is the high watermark of Manodharma Sangeeta, spontaneous music, creative music. While doing so, people who used to throw flowers from the bank, that has to be counted, and mentally used to solve algebraic problems and compose verses, of course, Ashut verses, and solve Samasyas, Dattapadi and others. That was his feat. Like that, there were many Avadhanis. Gadepalli Veeraragam Shastri, another great name. And he was known for very difficult prasas. In Telugu and Kannada, why even in all other South Indian languages, Adi Prasa is very important. Such Adi Prasa used to be maintained with difficult letters. Once he started his verse, Vagradini Bayalu Deeren. Gradini, Vagradini. Prichakas taken aback. How do you compose the next line? Shigramuga Rasa Kondru Sukavindrula. Like that, Shigra. And he completed the verse. Like that, Gadepalli Veeraragam Shastri. And another great name in Sanskrit literature by name Vasishtha Gadapati Muni. Vasishtha Gadapati Muni, he was an Avadhani in Telugu, in Sanskrit. I don't know whether he performed any Avadhanams in Telugu. Not even his biographer, Kapali Shastri, has given any data about that. And his achievements are breathtaking. He had gone to Navadvipam at the tender age of 18 or 20, and there he challenged so many scholars, and all tested his prowess in versification. And all these details are available in the biography, very beautifully written. Vasishtha Vaibhavam, author is, of course, Kapali Shastri, his beloved student, and perhaps this is the first ever modern biography of a Sanskrit scholar and an Avadhani. And there we have many beautiful samasyas. Vatsare Tvekada Gauri Patiputram Napashyati Tanvastram Pritijya Vadhu Shvashuram Ichchati Pipirika Chumbati Chandrabimbam. That many samasyas are available, and many Ashu Kavitas are also given there. And he performed several Avadhanams in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka, and of course in Andhra Pradesh. In Tamil Nadu, once in an Avadhanam, as a Vestakshari component, a very difficult verse from Madhaviya Shankar Vijaya, Apsam, Darpsam, Alipsam, Chirataram, Acharam, that verse was given. Swadhara is a big meter, totally has 84 syllables. They were jumbled and given, very complicated versification. And there he had to recollect all these letters and arrange them in the order and recite the verse. And then he had to explain this verse. He took the revenge of the Pruchaka and bashed him like anything, and exposing very many kavya doshas, poetic blemishes seen in this verse. You have to go through that work itself, Kavikantha Vasishtha Muni's Vaibhava, that is Vasishtha Vaibhavam. There you find a separate chapter itself devoted to this. And he used to perform Uddishta Akshari also. But there were many scholars, Sanskrit scholars from Andhra Pradesh who performed all over India. One such a big name is Pispat Chidambar Shastri. He went to Kerala, he went to Darbhanga, he went to Navadvip, he went to Kashi, Karnataka, and so many remote villages in Karnataka. Everywhere he performed Sanskrit Avadhanas. Even today, the tradition is seen in the modern days. One person by name Vidwan Dorbala Prabhakar Sharma, a Nayayika Rajamahendravaram, a very devout Karyakarta of Sanskrit Bharati, he performed Shatavadhanam, and his Avadhanam, the Ashtavadhanam may also be available on YouTube. And then his close friend and colleague, Sri Cheruvu Satyanarayana Shastri, unfortunately, we miss him after performing his complete Shatavadhanam, Sampurna Shatavadhanam. Within few years, 2 or 3 years, he expired. His Shatavadhanam. And one more person who performed recently means before a few decades, Rompicharla Bhattar, again from Andhra Pradesh. These three performed Sampurna Shatavadhanam in Sanskrit from Andhra. In Karnataka, I have performed Sampurna Shatavadhanam in Sanskrit. There are many Ashtavadhanis. In Andhra Pradesh, we have Ashtavadhanis like Bulsu Aparna, a lady who presently pursuing her PhD from Tirupati Kendriya Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya, and then her friend Nagashanti Swarupa, and the mentor Sri Mahadevamani, Dhulipad Mahadevamani is another Sanskrit scholar and Avadhani in Sanskrit. And then people like very big names in Telugu, Madugala Nagapani Sharma has performed Ashtavadhanam in Sanskrit, and Vadipati Padmakar. These are all Sahasravadhanis, Madugala Nagapani Sharma and Vadipati Padmakar. These have performed Ashtavadhanam in Sanskrit. And then many people have performed Telugu Avadhanam while meeting with some of the components in Sanskrit. There are very many such people. Rajshekara Venkateshesha Kavilu, like that. Durbhaka Rajshekar Shastri and Gadiyaramu Venkateshesha Shastri, these two duo used to perform Sanskrit Avadhanam also. Ganduri Dattatreya Sharma, another Shatavadhani. He has composed few Sanskrit poems as Avadhanam. Like that, there are very many people. And in modern days, in Karnataka also, quite a few Sanskrit Avadhanis have emerged. Here we have Vajataiji himself, and I mentioned about the name of Surya and Uma Maheshwara, along with Balchandra, and even our Mahesh Bhattacharyadi. His compositions are very beautiful, and I need not especially mention Dr. Shankar Rajaraman, whose verses are exceedingly beautiful, and his prowess in Chitra Kavita is legendary. And one more friend of mine, Sri H.A. Vasuki, has performed Sanskrit Avadhanam. Like that, the tradition is being continued. Even few more Sanskrit Avadhanis are also available. I need not drop names after names. Already I am digressing. Now I shall move on to the tradition of Avadhanam in Sanskrit, in Telugu. In Telugu, it started with of course, Sri Gundubailu Subramanya Bhatta from Udupi. He has performed Sanskrit Avadhanam. He is on par with our Pejataiji and Mahesh Bhattji. Yet another person by name, he is in
Halaskanda Venkatramana.
Calcutta. Halaskanda Venkatramana. Well, in Andhra, from 14th century, we find references to Andhra Avadhani. Peddaya Matya, a very great Avadhani, being a Chitra Kavi, and many other accomplishments for the great Avadhani. And of course, Nachana Somana, 1350 is the date. He was also an Avadhani. And Cherikunda Dharmanna from again Andhra Pradesh, 1550. He was also a good Avadhani. He was Shatalekhan Avadhani. And then Ramaraj Bhushana, his name I think was mentioned by our Pathuriji. Ramaraj Bhushana hailed from the community of bamboo makers, bamboo workers. He was a great poet, very great poet. His Vasucharitram is one of the great works that constitute the group of 5 epics, Panchamahakavya. And he was a musician also. Sangeeta Rahasya Kalanidhi was his title. Returi Rangaraju was another Avadhani. And Rangajamma, consort of Vijayaraghavan Nayaka, son of Raghunatha Nayaka, was also a great Shatavadhanini. And then we have all these Sanskrit Avadhanis, Madharushi, Tirupati Venkatakavi, Devalapalli. These are all Telugu Avadhanis too. They performed so many Telugu Avadhanis. For example, Veluri Shivarama Shastri was a great grammarian also. Tirupati Venkatakavi were also grammarians in Sanskrit. And they wrote a book in the form of Bhatti Kavyam to understand the rules of grammar. And Tirupati Venkatakavi's dearest student was Veluri Shivarama Shastri, a polyglot who performed in Sanskrit and Telugu. And then we have Adibhatta Narayana Dasu, Gadepalli Veeraraghav Shastri, Kokuri Kashipati, who was a Chitrakavi also, and C.V. Subbana Shatavadhani, who revived the art of Avadhanam after 1950. Because after the period of Tirupati Venkatakavi, Veluri Shivarama Shastri, Madhvashri Kashi Krishnacharya and the like, Avadhanam field was almost forgotten for 30 years. From 1920-25 to 1950, it was almost extinct. Then this person, C.V. Subbana Shatavadhani from Pradhutur, a hamlet in Kadapa district, he was student of Venkatesh Shastri, Gadiyar Venkatesh Shastri. He started the career and he became a very popular Avadhani, and his verses are highly classical and chiseled. And his contemporary Naral Ramareddy, known for beautiful performance, known for exuberant and entertaining performance. Peral Bharata Sharma was another great performer. Ganduri Dattatreya Sharma, a very good entertainer and a very prolific performer. And of course, there are various people belong to various communities. Even to name their communities may be wrong, may be socially wrong, but only to show that it was not just restricted to one community. Many people from many communities, they came and they became Avadhanis, and none were insulted and none were denigrated and none were exploited. A great Avadhani by name Tripurneni Ramaswamy Chaudhary belonged to Kamma community, was a devout student of Tirupati Venkatakavu, and he was an atheist, he was a rationalist, and yet he was Shatavadhani. He insisted his followers to learn Sanskrit, though not to follow the tenets of Sanatana Dharma. One should learn Sanskrit, read scriptures, understand them, know the group was like that, and perform Avadhanams. And then another person by name Ashavadi Prakash Rao was a Dalit Avadhani, first ever Dalit Avadhani. And then many women performed. Long ago we had tradition of Madhuravani, Rambhadraamba, Rangajamma and others. In the modern times, Prabhavati was the first lady Avadhani from Telugu. And we have such examples like Bulusu Aparna, Nagashakti Swarupa and others who have performed Shatavadhanam also jointly. And even today we have younger people taking. One person by name Jana Mallikarjuna Rao, Durga Prasad Mallikarjuna Rao. He performed at the age of 14 itself. And then now an NRI by name Gannavarpu Lalita Aditya from US. He has performed Avadhanams both in Telugu and Sanskrit. It is a really laudable attempt. A boy who is perhaps born and brought up in US, learning these languages and then being accomplished enough to perform an Avadhanam. And many scholars have participated in the Avadhanam, and he has been trained well. You can watch the YouTube links also. You can go to YouTube and watch his performances. Like that, in Telugu, we have a great tradition. In Tamil Nadu also, there were many Avadhanis. Since 15th century, we have references to Avadhanam. But I mentioned earlier, this type of Sahitya Avadhanam is not found in Tamil Nadu. So also in the Jain tradition, it is more mathematical in nature, more dharana oriented and less purana oriented. Well, Veerraghu Madaliyar, belonging to 15th century, performed Avadhanam in the court of Pararaj Kesari of Sri Lanka. And Kalamegha Pulavar at the same time, he was an Avadhani, and there were Kambaramayan Avadhanams being performed. And then a person by name Subbaramayan was a Vishatavadhani. Shaikuttamba Pavalar was another Shatavadhani. Krishnaswamy Pavalar was another Shatavadhani. These are all before our modern times. Muthuswamy Iyengar, Balasubramanya Iyer, Tanjavur Subramanya, like that list goes. Chinna Sharana Perumal Kavirayar, and Shodashavadhani, Tondamandalam Subramanya Kavirayar, Konnamkuda Chettiyar, Ramaya Pille. Ramaya Pille was a blind person. He belonged to 20th century. He performed Tamil Avadhanam. And one Muslim by name Sheikh Tambi Pavalar, he was a Shatavadhani in Tamil. And today also, one person by name Sri Kanaka Subbarathinam is a performer. He is a Shodashavadhani. And Kalai Sheliyan is a named man who is also performing Ashtavadhanam and Shodashavadhanam. And he met me once and want to know how to perform Shatavadhanam in Tamil. I think he hasn't yet accomplished that. In Tamil, the scheme is somewhat different. I have participated in the performances of Kanaka Subbarathinam. I can read out the details. Recognizing 6 classical Carnatic ragas, few ragas, and also if the ragas are sung, you will be recognizing the Todiya, Kalyani, Harikam Bhoji, Hindolam, like that, and solving problems connected with multiplication, and maximum are 4 digits, and then giving a sum of 6 numbers whose individual digits should not exceed 4, and then 7 colors will be shown in random, and they have to be remembered and recollected, and then an 8-digit number will be given that has to be remembered, and then Vestakshari will be there, and then we will be having one Venba which will be composed, one verse will be composed, and solving a solving a magic sphere of a 4x4 matrix, and then if flowers are thrown or if gentle beats are given on the back, he has to count them, and then bells ring have to be remembered, ringing of the bells, and then Tirukural, the work will be recited. He has to identify which is the number. If the number is given, he will be identifying the verse. And if the few key letters are given, key words are given, he will be giving out which verse it is, like that. It is complete authority over 2000 couplets of Tirukural, and then unknotting a rope, and then one more addition, like that. These are some of these, and then giving out the dates. If the date is given, he will be giving the week, like vice versa. This is more or less the methodology that is adopted by the Jains also. In the Jain Avadhana, we have something of this. I shall read out some of the names of Jain scholars who have performed the Avadhanams. In 16th century, one Jain monk by name Nandi Vijaya performed his Avadhanam in the court of Akbar. And then Shastri Shankarlal, Pandit Gattulal, these are all the scholars who performed their Avadhanams during the 19th century. And Muni Rajachandra Jain was a monk, Jain monk, and he was a Shatavadhani. And then Muni Rajkaran was Panchashatavadhani. I had the good fortune of meeting him, conversing with him for several days, and he too watched my performance, and I was also participating in his performance. He had a lot of appreciation for Sahitya Avadhana. And then Muni Manak Maharaj was a Shatavadhani of recent times. Muni Mahendra Kumar, another Avadhani. Muni Ajit Chandra Sagar, Panchashatavadhani. And a young boy by name Padma Prabha Chandra Sagar, Vishatavadhani. Recently, he performed his Avadhanam in Bangalore, and his Avadhanam is available on YouTube also. Here in the Jain tradition, they will be, this I have got from Muni Rajkaran ji's performance. Others are not performing up to this mark, that's what I could feel. A Sanskrit verse will be rendered, once it is uttered, he will be immediately recapitulating and rendering it Eka Sandigradi. At once it will be repeated. And then a number comprising 16 digits is split into two, and the parts are read out individually. The performer recalls the number in the same order, 16 digit number, identifying the square root and cube root of whole numbers, not fractions. Identifying and remembering in sequence 5 colors that are shown randomly, and adding a given set of numbers and dividing the sum by one of the following digits, 2, 3, something like that they are given, and there should be no remainder, like that it has to be divided. Solving two magic squares, 4 by 4 matrix and 5 by 5 matrix simultaneously, giving out exact number of times that a specific word is used in a text. Text, generally a book belonging to Jainology, that will be complete control and authority over that book. And then recalling correct sequences of 5 objects which are randomly given. Randomly 5 objects will be named, they have to remember those in the same order. And then adding numbers written on 64 pieces of paper. And then identifying number that questionnaire has in the mind by questioning repeatedly. It is something like Manasi. Identifying exact location of a finger ring amidst a group of 50 people. This feat was not performed, I didn't start. It is said so. And then framing a coherent sentence using words that are presented in random sequence. And then at the beginning of the performance, 3 books are given to the performer. He must feel the texture intently and remember them. He has to close and feel, and then later identify by the touch itself, and then giving out the weeks for days and dates, and solving arithmetic problems, identifying the time by asking suitable questions. What is the time now on the wristwatch? And then expounding one or the other tenets of Jainology by using different languages. Few minutes you'll be speaking. If he starts in Ardhamagadi, in the middle, if I say that you shift to Hindi, you'll be shifting. You shift to Gujarati, you'll be shifting. You shift to Sanskrit, you'll be shifting, like that. 3-4 languages. These are some of the features. What I mean here, in all these things, more than Purana, it is Dharana that is very important. This is the whole art of Avadhana in Tamil and Jain tradition. Entirely whole art is depending on Dharana, mostly mathematical in nature and essentially memory rooted, but only one item is devoted for versification, and one more item is devoted for expounding a verse, explaining the verse. But for that, there are no poetic elements here. As this workshop is mainly focusing on the Sahitya Avadhanam, these details may not be important for us. Anyway, we have given all these details in our books. And in this juncture, I have to remember my mentor, who became the primordial cause, who became the key cause in reviving the art and science of Avadhanam in Karnataka, in Kannada, Sri Lanka Krishnamurti. He was a very great scholar, very great person, greater person he was, and he was an adept grammarian and deeply interested in Dharma Shastra and other things, very unassuming person. Those who know Kannada can read a long article written on him by me on the Preksha Internet Journal. He was an Avadhani. He was very well rooted in Sanskrit, and he performed Avadhanam in Kannada, Telugu and Sanskrit. He could perform, though he performed in Telugu and Sanskrit, he could perform Avadhanam in Kannada also. He encouraged Avadhanis. That's why he made one Telugu Avadhani perform Avadhanam in Kannada, Joseph Sadanand Shastri. I performed before me acquainting with him, and later he guided me in so many ways. He gave different difficult questions to me in my Avadhanams. Very, very cryptic, very difficult and challenging Samasya, Dattapati. And when I wanted to involve Chitra Kavita in Avadhanam, it was very difficult to find a Prachaka for that. Then he learned Chitrakavita by inquiring and consulting books, and then he became Chitrakavita Prachaka. Whether it is Nishedakshara or Chitrakavita, in any component, his prowess and his generosity and his keenness were all phenomenal. Such a person was Lanka Krishnamurti. Because of him, this workshop could conducted. But for him, I could not have stood for a longer period in the area, in the domain of Avadhan. Well, remembering him is always a rewarding thing in my life, and it's more so in such occasions. With this, I conclude the session for questions and open the session for questions. I think I have given more dry data without any enjoyment. What to do? People who are interested in history do know that history is nothing but bunch of dates and names. This is what I have given here. Any question?
Thank you for very informative and interesting session, sir. And I want to say two things before we go to the question and answer sessions. The one thing, honestly, I say that the three people what Ganeshji mentioned that I have trained, actually, I just helped at one of them only, and Balachandra Bhatt was trained by, is trained by Mahesh Bhatt Haryadi, so I have to remember that. And I am very happy to share this also with the participants. And another thing that our one of the participant, Keshav Manthaji, Keshav Kumar Manthaji, he is from Mumbai. He informed me that his grandmother was an Ashtavadhanini, and her name is Ganti Krishnavenamma. Ganti Krishnavenamma. So she was an Ashtavadhanini, Telugu Ashtavadhanini.
Yes.
What he informed us. So I am very happy to share this also with the participants.
It's a pleasant news.
So with this, we will go to the questions. Someone had asked me in the chat box that why we can't see Avadhaninis. Means
Avadhanini. Well,
and some of the names you had mentioned also, but
yes.
Why there are not many Avadhanis?
Yes. One thing, we all know that our society, for good or bad, as a matter of fact, men dominated the area of learning and so many other areas of work. Naturally, men had greater exposure for these things. But in future, it may not be so. It will certainly change, because I still remember when I was studying engineering, no girl used to opt for mechanical engineering. But that was not the case when Shashi joined engineering and he studied mechanical engineering. His classmates, a few of them were girls. And in one college, there were no girl students at all. But later, after me teaching there and coming out, I could see that so many girls joined that college, and even today it is a very popular engineering college in Karnataka. Like that it will happen. Earlier, very few women singers were giving public performances. It was first D.K. Pattamma from the non-Devadasi and non-Rajadasi community who gave music performance. Later, thousands of people, lakhs of people have come and given performances. And this is so, even in the Shastras also. We hear in ancient times, people like Gargi and Maitreyi, Sulabha, and such people were there. And then we had people like Ubhay Bharati, Madhuravani, and others. But nowadays we have so many women scholars. I'm very happy that Dr. Gauri Maholikar ji is here. So many people are there. Dr. Saroja Bhatte is a very well known grammarian. And my own mentor, Shri Rangnath Sharma's student, Dr. Indiramma, a great Vyakarana and also Vishishtadvaitin, my teacher used to say, in his career, her answers were the best answers that were seen. Like that, there are many. That's why Sheela Vijja Marula Morikadyaha Kavyam Kartum Datum Bhaktum Santi Shakta Striyopi, Rajashekara says. Yes. Striyopi Kavi Bhavehu is another statement of him. Today I was studying Ganga Devi's Mathura Vijaya with my friends. What a great epic it is, what a beautiful language it has. Such are there. Because it is a stage performance, one has to move from village to village, city to city, travel and all. It was earlier difficult for women. Usually every woman used to be married and household responsibilities, looking after the children, so many things were there. Men were rather carefree. They used to move everywhere and they had no difficulty in travel. Such physical hardships were not much difficult for them. And this may be reason. Nowadays, though there are opportunities, perhaps classical art needs a greater devotion. Our time itself is not convenient and conducive for that. Many distractions. When I started Avadhanam, I had no such distraction, and people had no such distraction. People were not aware of TV, let alone WhatsApp or internet, other things. And that's why I had so much of opportunity. If not, I could not have completed more than 1,200 performances. Nowadays, though there are many accomplished Avadhanis, organizers are rarer, organizers are fewer, and people who are ready to sit for 3-4 hours are very difficult, very hard to find. And these are some of the reasons. Here I should name, in Kannada, in my view, the best Kannada Avadhani who is performing nowadays is my young friend Shri Ganesh Koppalkota, and other two Avadhanis. One, Umesh Gautam, who has performed in 3 languages, Kannada, Hindi and Konkani. He is the only Avadhani in Konkani. He has performed in Hindi also. 2 more Avadhanis from Andhra Pradesh have performed in Hindi. And Umesh Gautam has also performed. He is from Dakshina Kannada. And then Dr. Kabbinale Vasanta Bharadwaja has performed many Avadhanams. He is also an accomplished Yakshagana Avadhani. And he has performed both in Kannada and Tulu. Like that, in Karnataka, there are many Avadhanis who are using several languages and several modes of expression. Now, next question, please.
And to continue this one, we have 2 Kavayitris, poetesses here in our forum also, that Shruti Kanitkar from Mumbai and Yogita Chhatre from Sringeri.
Nice listening to them and meeting them, though in indirect media.
Whom I know, there may be some others also, but these 2 I know. So, and now Vignesh Iyer, can you?
आचार्याः प्रणामाः। तत्र क्वचित् भोजप्रबन्धे मया पठितं ब्रह्मराक्षसकालिदासयोः संवादः वर्तते। तत्र ब्रह्मराक्षसः एकं व्याकरणसूत्रं वा सूत्रांशं वदति, तदधिकृत्य कालिदासः पद्यानि रचयति। यथा सः सर्वस्य द्वे इति वदति, कालिदासः सर्वस्य द्वे हेतु इति। तर्हि इदं दत्तपदस्य उदाहरणमिति वयम् अङ्गीकर्तुं शक्नुमः वा इति जिज्ञासे।
शक्यमेव, अवश्यं युज्यते। यतः सूत्रगर्भीकरणम् इतोपि दुष्करं। सर्वस्य द्वे अत्र पदद्वितयमपि वर्तते। दत्तपदे सामान्यतः पदमेकमेव दीयते, न तु भूरिशः पदानि दीयन्ते। एकस्मिन् पादे पदमेकमेव। अहं तु अन्यदेकमपि पद्यं स्मरामि। अश्विनी भवतु भूपमन्धुरा मंदिरे वसतु ते पुनर्वसु, लाइक दैट वन मोर वर्स। अत्र नक्षत्राणां नाम गर्भीकरणं वर्तते। अश्विनी भवतु भूपमन्धुरा, अश्विनी अश्ववती भवतु मन्धुरा अश्वशाला इति कथ्यते कोशेषु। तथा तव कोशे भवतु वर्ततां पुनर्वसु इति। तदनन्तरं रेवतीश सहजस्य करुणया इति वा किमपि पद्यं न स्मरामि। रेवतीशः बलरामः, तस्य अनुजः श्रीकृष्णः, तेन तस्य करुणया भवान् शक्तिधरः इव स्कन्दः इव विशाख नक्षत्राधिपतिरिव चकास्तु इति एवं तात्पर्येण किमपि पद्यं विद्यमानं तदपि कालिदासेन कथितमिति श्रूयते। यद्यपि भोजप्रबन्धे न दृश्यते तथापि ईदृशानि पद्यानि बहूनि वर्तन्ते एव विद्वद्वलयेषु मौखिकरीत्या। बहु स्वारस्यकराणि पद्यानि वर्तन्ते तादृशानि।
Avinash ji has asked a question in chat box only. That can we means why or can someone perform avadhanam in English? So now you mentioned about Hindi avadhana. What are the challenges, please?
It's a very beautiful question. I should remember my esteemed scholar, gifted poet friend, Sri Sudhir Krishnaswamy. Perhaps in my purview, in my known circle, he is one person who could perform such a feat, but he hasn't made up his mind. Since 20 years, I am requesting him to perform. Here, when we want to perform in non-Indian languages, how should be the pattern of avadhanam? Certainly, it should be something else. We cannot have nishiddhaksharam in this sense. For example, we have to have nishiddha syllables. Because if a word has to be uttered, if vowels are negated, he can't move anywhere. So the word pattern itself, the phonetic pattern itself is different in English. But Samasya Puranam, certainly we can do it. In Dattapadi, to an extent we can do. But Chitra Kavita is almost impossible. Vyastakshari is very easy. Very easy. Vyastakshari, it is very easy. And Kavya Vachana, one should have a wide range of learning in English literature that is easily possible. And Aprastuta Prasanga, fantastic. And Ashadvita can also be done. So in this way, Nishedakshara has to be molded in a different manner. Then I think it can be performed. But it comes to meter. Apart from Indian languages, in all non-Indian languages, to a great extent, I have observed that metrical pattern and prosody. The prosodic structure is very loose. Starting from Greek language, I have actually learned and read the classics in Greek and Latin. I know how loose they are when compared to Sanskrit, Telugu, Kannada, and other languages. But even the Geya Kavitva, rather the song-like expressions which are treated as metrical patterns in Tamil, Malayalam, in Kannada, they are somewhat loose. The Trimurti Gadas, as we call, the Karshana Pradhana Vrittas, as they are mentioned. Those who are interested to know about them through Sanskrit, they can refer to Jaikirti's Chandonushasana. They can understand the aksharas there, Mahakshara, Madhyakshara, Alpakshara, Antarakshara, like that. Tripadis, even in the musical treatises of Someshwara and others, you can go to that. But also in various music Sangeet Shastra works like Brihad Deshi and others, they have a Prabandha section, Prabandhatyaya, there you can see such musical patterns. Their metrical structure is rather loose. And that's why when it is loose, anyone can compose. When it is strict and tight, then only an accomplished person can do. To that element, to that extent, the element of wonder and difficulty is reduced. That's why in English, we should have strict following of the meter, whether it is iambic or troche or sponde or unapaced or dectalic, like that there are various types of ganas. Accordingly, we have to do. And so it becomes the burden of an accomplished person in those languages to formulate that. As I mentioned earlier, we can do newer and newer innovations, but those innovations should not weaken the appeal and difficulty of this art, because this art essentially relies on instantaneous wonder, and wonder can only be generated by accomplishing a feat, and feat should always be challenging. This is the guideline, and sky is the limit. Next question.
Thank you very much. So next question, Srinath Narayan ji, you can ask your question.
Namaskar, sir. You part answered my question, which is around non-Indian Western, what is considered classical languages like Latin or Greek. But is there any instances of similar uh, structures available there? I've listened to your lectures on the literature of the top five kavyas. But is there any instance of something similar to Avadhanam being conducted in those countries or any other country outside of this? Because, we are familiar with Sanskrit and the South Indian derivatives of the language plus Hindi. I understand how it can be performed, but I just want to understand if it is possible at all, or if somebody has attempted.
Well, extempore poetry is always present in any language. There are many poets. There were many poets who are pouring out with extempore poetry, like that. It was well prevalent. Even today, there may be. And also, constrained poetry can also be seen. Constrained poetry in the sense, we do have acrostics, Adhyakshara Bandha. Such a Chitrakavya, though not in the strict sense of Sanskrit Chitrakavya tradition, which is highly sophisticated, highly difficult, but in those languages, according to the capability, according to the intrinsic capability of the language, and according to the adaptability of the language to such exercises, we have. I remember one author in English had written several books, several novels. In every novel, he used to omit one vowel, A, E, I, O, U. These are the basic vowels of English. Losing them, ignoring them, avoiding them, has written. Such a difficult task. Such things are always available. And then we have memory techniques. There are very many memory techniques, and memory experts are also there. In the internet, you have plenty of them. In YouTube also, you can watch it. And people like Macaulay, he was such a he had such a strong memory. He had phenomenal memory. He had written several letters, and there in his letters he says, if all the copies of John Milton's Paradise Lost are burnt on this globe, he could recall every word from John Milton's. More than 10,000 lines of that epic can be reproduced. Like that, there were many people who had extraordinary memory power, retention. So, elements of Avadhana, these are the features, Ashukavita and Dharana and multitasking. They are all available, but they are all not put together and reached. I think Shashi has something to say.
If I may just add a point here, of late in the United States, there has come a genre of poetry called as spoken word poetry, which has become quite popular. If you go to YouTube and search for names such as Sarah K and Jim K, they are twin poets who perform together. It is mostly concerned with retention and presenting their verses as an art. It is not composing on the spot, though it is called as spoken word poetry, but it has come to the forefront in recent years and has garnered millions of views. But of course, the structure is nowhere comparable to Avadhanam in terms of sophistication or in terms of extemporaneity. But that is somewhat a very, very vague and very dim parallel in the English world of today.
One thing I have to mention here, English as a language is very, very beautiful, very capable. It has so many words, lakhs of words, literally lakhs of words, and having so many shades of meanings are given to one word, and also hundreds of words meant to express one idea. In that way, one word having so many shades and so many words for one thing, both these are available. Both for concrete and abstract things, there are very good words, very many expressions available. But two things, mainly one, it is not an inflected language, and hence Samasakarana is almost very, very difficult. And another one is, as it is not a lexical language, how it is written, so it is not pronounced. And the syntax is also very different. It is not malleable and ductile for such purpose. Though the language is highly valuable with respect to other things. Dimension as a storehouse of information is extraordinary. Yadi hasti tadanyatra enne hasti na tat kvachit can be said so with respect to English. The writings available in English, but the language by itself has no such capability as we have in the case of Sanskrit. In Sanskritam, the language itself, barring its information, it is so rich, so sophisticated, and it is pure linguist says, a modern linguist says, no language is superior, no language is inferior. Every language has its own share of sophistication, beauty, and uniqueness. None can be compared. But for our rough purpose, a rough estimation can be made. To my little knowledge, the intrinsic capability of Sanskrit as a language, the capability to generate words, the capability to compact the meaning, compact the structure, and expand the structure is extraordinary. For example, a lotus can just be said as Varja. At the same time, it can also be elaborated Sarvato Bhadra Sanjata. Sarvato Bhadra Sanjatam Vikshatam. Sarvatobhadra is 8-letter word. Sarvatobhadra is one of the synonyms of water. You can also make very, very sophisticated mega pushpa bhupata nashaya samutha, like that. Mega pushpa is rain. And like that, so many sophisticated expressions can be done. It is left to the intrinsic capability of language. It is nature, we have to say.
So with this, we will conclude this session. So once again, I offer एतद्विषये इदानीम् एतावता विस्तरेण उक्तवद्भ्यः गणेशवर्येभ्यः पुनः सनमो वाकं कृतज्ञतां विनिवेदयामि। ये केऽपि भागग्राहिणः अत्र वर्तन्ते तेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यो अपि धन्यवादाः आविष्क्रियन्ते। पुनः शान्तिमन्त्रेण सत्रमेतत् समापयिष्यामः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।